Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain amma ba'du.
The Honorable Nurse Sasmianto Eskep MKes, as the Dean of the Faculty of Health Science, Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember.
Nurse Sofia Rosmadewi Eskep MKep, as the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Health Science, Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember.
Nurse Susi Wahyuning Asih Eskep MKep, the Chairperson of Nurse Profession Study Program, Faculty of Health Science.
Nurse Yani Suryaningsih Eskep MKep, as the Chairperson of Bachelor of Nursing Study Program, Faculty of Health Science.
Nurse Mat Zaini MKep SP Kepj, as the Chairperson of Nursing Diploma Study Program, Faculty of Health Science.
Mr. Leonard Ivan T. Melana, RN MAN, as the speaker for the general lecture from Ifugao State University, the Philippines.
Invited person from Faculty of Health Science, Universitas Muhammadiyah Lamongan. Chairperson of Nursing Diploma Study Program, Universitas Bondowoso, and Chairperson of Fikes Rustida Banyuwangi.
Also, lecturer and student of the Faculty of Health Science, Universitas Muhammadiyah Jember.
Welcome at the general lecture with the topic Community Disaster Risk Management 2023. Firstly, I would like to express the utmost gratitude towards Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for letting us together in today's event, general lecture with the topic Community Disaster Risk Management with Good and Stable State of Health.
Salawat and salam always be poured out the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us to Islam rahmatan lil alamin.
I also would like to say thank you for the audience, especially Mr. Leonard Ivan T. Melana, for the willingness to come to this event.
Hereby, I Desta Almira Hudoyo
and Eric Pratama Widianto
will be the master of ceremony of today's event to guide you until the end.
All right. I would read out the rundown of today's event, which is divided into 8 parts.
First, opening.
The second is sing the national anthem Indonesia Raya, followed by Sang Surya and Mars Unmu.
Third, reading of Kalam Ilahi.
Fourth, welcome speech.
Fifth, general lecture.
Sixth, question and answer session.
7. Handover certificate and documentation.
And the last is closing.
For the time effectivity, let's go straight to the first event, the opening section. First agenda is opening. Let's open the event with Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
The second agenda is sing the national anthem Indonesia Raya, followed by Sang Surya and Mars Unmu. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. to sit back.
The third agenda is reading of Kalam Ilahi to Firman Maulana Rosyadi. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu idza qila lakum tafassahu fil majalis إذا قيل لكم تفسحوا في المجالس فافسحوا يفسح الله لكم وإذا قيل انشزوا فانشزوا يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات والله بما تعملون خبير والله بما تعملون خبير Sadaqallahul Azim. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
The next agenda is welcome speech to Nurse Sofia Rosmadewi, Askep Amkep. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain amma ba'du. The Honorable Dean of Faculty of Health Science, Nurse Sasmianto, Sarjana Keperawatan Magister Kesehatan, the Honorable Head of Bachelor of Nursing Program, Nurse Yeni Suryaningsih, Sarjana Keperawatan Magister Keperawatan, the Honorable Head of Nursing Professions Program, Nurse Susi Wahyuning Asih, Sarjana Keperawatan, Magister Keperawatan. The Honorable Head of Diploma of Nursing Program, Nurse Matzaini, Magister Keperawatan, Spesialis Keperawatan Jiwa. The Honorable Sir Leonard Ivanti Melana, RN, MAN, as our speaker today. The Honorable all of the lecturers of Faculty of Health Science and all of beloved students. Praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given His grace and guidance and allow us to gather here today in a good health. Salawat and greetings may always be poured to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his follower until the end of time. Amen. We are happy to welcoming you back, Sir Ivan. Welcome back to Jember. And welcome back to Faculty of Health Science. It's been 4 years since 2019, right? And today, Sir Ivan would like to share with us about the community disaster risk management. We would also like to say hello to our partners from Akper Unibo, Stikes Rustida Banyuwangi, and Universitas Muhammadiyah Lamongan. Selamat datang. And for your information, Sir Ivan, our programs which are Bachelor of Nursing program and Nursing Profession program are try to develop disaster nursing as our major. We are not expert, as I told you, but we are trying to building the roadmap to implementing the disaster nursing as our scientific vision. We are developing our research and community service in the term of disaster nursing because our regency, Jember, has geographical area consisting of mountain and beaches. And it cause Jember has a lot of risk of natural disasters such as flood, landslide, and typhoon. We currently developing a disaster preparedness village in Klungkung, Sukorambi. We try to build a disaster mitigation system, but in the other hand, we still realize that we still have a lot of homework to be done to make sure that the system is working. So we hope that today we can learn about something new to develop the system. And our partner from Universitas Muhammadiyah Lamongan is also involving in and developing the nursing disaster. So we have, I hope we can have a discussion and get new information about a disaster program in itself. To all my students, I hope you're not afraid and ashamed to talk and asking, okay? That's all I can say for today, for this occasion. Enjoy the general lecture, and I hope our event will run smoothly. Nasrun minallah wa fathun qarib. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.
The fifth agenda is general lecture. On this occasion, we offer the moderator time to direct events flow. So please welcome to Miss Diah Ayu Faradila to come to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to General Lecture Community Disaster Risk Management 2023. My name is Diah Ayunur Fadila, and I will be the moderator today. Today we have an amazing speaker from Solano, Nubia Vizcaya, Philippines, and I'm going with his profile. Mr. Leonard Ivan T. Milana, RN, MAN. His education story starts from 2004 to 2007, Bachelor of Science in Nursing for Eastern University College of Nursing, Manila, Philippines. 2007 to 2009, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, St. Mary's University School of Health Science, Boyombong, Nubia Vizcaya. 2009 to 2011, Master of Arts in Nursing Thesis Program, University of La Salle, Santiago City, Isabel, Philippines. He also has a lot of experience, one of them where he currently serves as chairperson, Master of Arts in Nursing in Ifugao State University, Philippines. And I would like to invite Mr. Leonard Ivan T. Milana to the stage. Please welcome Mr. Leonard Ivan T. Milana. Okay, now we are with Mr. Leonard Ivan. Excuse me, but how do I call you? Ivan or Ivan?
You could just call me Ivan. Ivan, yes. that's
Ivan, oh,
yeah.
okay, Ivan. It's easier for Indonesian.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Actually, Ivan is a name that common in Indonesia, but I think it's just different. It's in our pronounce because we call it Ivan, and in Philippines, Ivan, right?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay. So, can I call you Ivan?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay,
yeah,
thank
yes.
you. So, Mr. Ivan, I heard that you just arrived in Indonesia yesterday, but it's not your first time come to Indonesia.
Yes, I think it's my third time here in Indonesia. My first to be here in Indonesia was last 2011, I think, or 12, but it's in Yogyakarta. I have students from the Master of Arts in Nursing, Yogyakarta, and I think she's one of your faculty here, Miss Ifa. Yeah, she's my student, okay, from the student exchange program. And I also went here in Jember last 2019 for a lecture. But then again, because of the pandemic, we stop our operations with our internationalization to give way for our budget for the pandemic. Yeah.
But I think it's late, but I will also welcoming you. Welcome to Jember, Indonesia.
Yes, terima kasih.
Okay. How to say thank you in Tagalog?
Salamat.
Salamat.
But
Salamat.
here, salamat is good. I think like salamat pagi, like it's
Okay,
good
salamat
morning.
is good. Salamat is thank you, maybe?
Thank you, yes. Salamat is thank you.
Okay, as is this not your first time come to Indonesia, what you like the most from Indonesia? Maybe you like how people greet you, how the food it is. Maybe does it sweet in your taste, Indonesian food?
What I like most about Indonesia is that people are very welcoming, and they are really accommodating. Like they would just accompany me everywhere I go.
Oh.
Even last time I went here, I played badminton, and I also like spicy foods.
Oh, you
Yes,
like spicy food?
especially your beaches. Like,
Oh, it's amazing. That's our highlight in Indonesia.
yes.
Okay, give it applause for Mr. Leonard Ivan. Okay, maybe can I ask you, have you travel around the city? Start from yesterday.
Because we arrived late, we
Yeah.
just went in our hotel after the dinner at
Oh.
Lestari, I think. That's
Yeah,
the name.
it's too far from airport, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I think now we will move on to the next session. The next session is presentation session for the next 30 minutes. Mr. Ivan will present the lecture today. And after that, it will continue with a discussion session which will be divided into two sessions, and there is two questions in each session. Okay, Mr. Ivan, I think time is yours.
Thank you very much. Yes, yes. I think I gave already the copy. Okay. Salamat pagi, everyone. Um, it's nice. It's nice to be back again here in Jember. It's been 4 years, I think, that I'm my last visit here in Jember, and thank you for the Faculty of Health Science, to my friends, Sir Hendra and Ma'am Sophie and Yordin and the rest of the faculty from the health science. Thank you very much for having me here. And I hope this time, since this morning, I wish we signed our MOU with your rector or your president and with your dean. MOU and MOA for the health science department. And pandemic is over, and I think we are now really pushing through collaboration with your beloved university. And I hope seeing you, most of you, through our online mobility and on-site if possible. Okay, you could go there in the Philippines and have student collaboration. Okay. Now, when I was asked what to discuss, I had. Can I just go down? Yes. I just want to feel close to my students and my friends. Okay, when it comes to discussion, when I'm given a task to discuss topics, they suggested me on community disaster risk management. And I think because of the pandemic, the rise on issues when it comes to disaster and disaster accidents, hazards are becoming what do you call this issues right now, especially when it comes to our preparedness and our mitigation system. So I may want to share some of our what we are doing in the Philippines. And actually, disaster nursing is one of our subjects in a Bachelor of Science in Nursing on the last semester. So we have nursing disaster, emergency and disaster care. That is, I think, 4 or 5 units for our disaster. And we have both lecture and our related learning experience or the practical part of our disaster nursing, where our students are trained to do CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Our students are trained to do bandaging, okay? And most especially, our students went to the community to have some planning when it comes to disaster risk management. Now, just a quick background: Philippines has the highest. Okay, can you go back, sir? On the, yeah, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Philippines as one of the countries with a very, when you say high or to very high range when it comes to risk index worldwide. Okay? I think Indonesia also, we are on the same track. Philippines and Indonesia are on the same track with high or very high disaster risks worldwide. Since when it comes to geographic location, okay, when it comes to geographic location, we belong on the Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay? And when you are there, unfortunately, we have many earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. And at the same time, we are on the Pacific basin, okay, where monsoons, typhoons are common. And And because of our geographic locations, have increased number of disasters in our areas. But not only that, because like the pandemic, it's also considered as a disaster or a hazard, okay, and classified as like a biochemical hazard, okay, that it's worldwide in occurrence. Okay, next, ma'am. Now, yes, as I was said, we are on the same geographic location. We are on the Pacific Ring of Fire, like Japan, Indonesia, okay, also where earthquake and tsunamis or volcanic eruptions are common. Yes, ma'am. Next. So in the Philippines, we have a magnitude of 4 or greater since for the earthquake, for the seismicity of our earthquake, we have greater more than 4 since 1907. Just 2 weeks ago, we also have earthquakes and aftershocks. Okay, yeah, I think it's every month in different places in the Philippines. I don't know if it's the same in Indonesia also. The same also. Oh, it's yeah, because we belong on the Pacific Ring of Fire. Okay? One of our activities that we are doing in the Philippines is we had our earthquake drill. Okay? Like every March, okay? I think twice a year we have our earthquake drill. Like students in the university, they will ring a bell and they will do the preventive way if there is earthquake. Like we role play that it seems that there is an earthquake and we are doing duck walk and we hide on that under a table, but that is a role playing. Okay, that's only a role playing as our preparation. So we have earthquake drill two times a year, okay, in the Philippines. Yes, ma'am. Next. Okay. Now, this is also a record of the typhoon, okay, annual cyclones frequency in the Philippines. And you know the alphabet, A to Z. So how many letters in the alphabet? That's also the average, okay, typhoon that we have in the Philippines. Okay. Next, ma'am. Now, because of the typhoon, and we belong on the Pacific basin, floods are also common in the Philippines. Now, one of the reasons would be on deforestation, because the cut trees and common we have floods, landslide because of deforestation. And when we say disaster management, it's not only one agency that is working or not only one sector who is working. Since when it comes to preparedness and mitigation, like how are we going to prevent floods, for example? Now, because the reason of floods in the Philippines is because of deforestation, one of our policy is before they will cut trees, they have to apply permit. We could not just cut trees. Okay? I don't know if it's the same here in Indonesia also, because I saw yesterday when we had our travel here going from Bali to Jember, we saw a vehicle with a lot of trees at the back of the vehicle, and I am questioning if did they apply for permit when they cut trees? For us, when we cut trees, like one tree, we cut one tree, we have to plant 10 more seedlings. Okay? And they have to monitor that. Because when you cut tree and there's no permit and you do not replace it with 10 seedlings, you will get imprisoned in the Philippines. So it's not only the Emergency or Disaster Risk Management Council who is preparing our country for the floods, for example, or for disaster. So it's multi-sector. Even the police department are helping. Okay? The Department of Interior and Local Government is helping us. So it's multi-sectoral. It's not only one sector who is preparing us. So with that, right now, we are on the way of solving deforestation. And probably we are looking forward to lesser flash floods and landslide in our country because we are replacing the trees. So you could not just cut down trees. You have to get permit from the government. And after that, you also need to replace the seedlings. Okay? Maybe we could make this we could include that in our plan, okay, for our community disaster management. Next, ma'am. Okay, drought frequency in the Philippines, like El Nino and La Nina. Yes, we have currently during summer, we have problems when it comes to irrigation. Climate change is very evident also in the Philippines. The coldest before is like 14 degree for the coldest part in the Philippines. But because of climate change right now, it's 8 degrees Celsius. And the hottest would be around 42. Okay, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, it's only 39. But right now, temperature is rising like 42, but also decreasing like 8 degrees Celsius because of the effects of climate change. Okay? Actions taken here for El Nino and La Nina, they are more of the conservation of water. So private agencies like the malls in the Philippines, when it comes to their toilet, we are not using a lot of water. Like we have waterless toilet. Okay? Like you don't need to pour water because it's waterless. So those are some activities. And for our waste disposal, they will not be collecting waste if you are not separating them from biodegradable, non-biodegradable. I think it's just the same here. Like we have to separate our waste, right? And those the waste that are biodegradable, they are turning that into fertilizers already for the plants. Okay? That's how we do it. One of our part of our plan. Okay? So in our community, like in for nursing, we are encouraging compost pitting their waste products. So when we go to the community, one of our activities is we educate them on waste disposal and we teach them how to do composting, okay? So that there would be lesser waste for the barangay or the municipal barangay to collect because maybe probably half of the waste are biodegradable and they would just create compost pit at their backyard. So that is one of our activities done. Okay, next one. Okay, now because of our geographic location, many Filipinos are affected like flash floods, the effects of tsunamis, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, and also biochemical hazards like COVID-19. Okay, now, yes ma'am. Now we have to define first our terms like vulnerability. Vulnerability, there is an increase of incidents. And remember, who are the vulnerable individuals? These individuals belong to the outskirts of the community who have a lack of education when it comes to how to prevent disasters and the effects of disasters, especially those areas with poor signal or lack of signal of the internet. Because there are areas in Ifugao that we don't have signals. So those are the people who are vulnerable. Okay, next one. Disaster, it's the actual accident, the crisis already. Okay, yes. I will just run down. Prevention, these are activities that would lessen or reduce the effects of the disaster if that happens. Yes. Mitigation, these are activities that would reduce the effect, okay, of the effects or the consequence of the disaster. Part of the mitigation, what is new in the Philippines, that after the accident, they will do counseling or debriefing. Okay? Debriefing. Since if you have accidents, you would be traumatized. Okay? You would be traumatized. So after that, we have debriefing. Okay? Debriefing or counseling to avoid post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay? So we have debriefing, example of a mitigation activity. Yes. And of course, preparedness. For the preparedness, every barangay or community have their community disaster risk management plan. Okay? I'll be discussing some of the components of the community disaster preparedness plan of each community on how we go about the process of coming up with a plan. Yes, ma'am. Now, um, since 2010, we already revised our National Disaster Act. We have a policy, Republic Act. Okay? That Republic Act is our basis when it comes to implementing disaster risk management plan for the region, for the province, for the municipal level, and up to the barangay. Now here, you could see here, noon is before. Noon is before. Okay? Ngayon is now. Okay? So noon is, that's the Tagalog word for before, and yung dapat ngayon, that is now. Okay? What we are doing now. Now, I hope we are on the same track in Indonesia, because before, when we say disaster are unforeseen. Okay? That means they are unexpected. Okay? They are unexpected events which cannot be prevented. That's how they see disaster before. But right now, the mindset should be disaster could be prevented. Okay? Disaster could be prevented. We could prepare for the effects of like typhoon. Like what I've said a while ago, like there's a policy on if we cut trees, we have to apply permit, and when we cut one tree, we have to replace it with 10 seedlings, okay? So that we could prevent floods in the future. Okay? Before, disaster is more on emergency response and recovery. Okay? Like if there is disaster, we tend to think of emergency and recovery. But right now, when we say disaster, it's more on we prevent. Okay? Because we want to spend like we will be spending like lesser when it comes to prevention than spending a lot later on when it comes to emergency and recovery. So we are more up to prevention. Okay? So there's a quote saying that prevention is better than cure. Okay? Prevention is better than cure. So we would lessen the costs if we prevented. Okay? What would be the effects of disaster later on? Okay? So in nursing community in the Philippines, we focus on prevention and promotion than on giving cure. Okay? Before, when we say disaster, people are the victim. But right now, people in the community are the active actors. Before there's only one department who is in charge when it comes to disaster risk. But right now, all of us should be involved. Okay? Not only the health department, not only the disaster risk council, but everyone is involved. So when we come up with a training in the community, we involve all the families. Like we teach them on how to do bandaging. We teach them if there is flood, these are the activities to be done. If there is a landslide, these are the activities to be done. So we are not only teaching the people in the health department or in the government or in the community, in the local government, but we teach all the families in the barangay. So that is our community COPAR, Community Organized Participatory Action and Research. So we had COPAR as our program to implement this. So the people now are not the victims, they are the active actors in the prevention. Okay. Next, ma'am. Now, some of the items were already been discussed. I just want to focus on number one. Before, disaster management is the sole responsibility of NDCC. NDCC is our National Disaster Center Council. It's on a national level. But the problem there is we have difficulty accessing their services. So if there is a national disaster community council center right now in the Philippines, from national they bring it to the grassroots level or to the barangay level. So we have Barangay Disaster Risk Management Council. Okay? So before it's only on the national level, but right now we have the services on the barangay level. Okay? For the accessibility. The principle for our disaster risk management, we have 4 A's. Number 1 is accessible. Okay, services should be accessible. Number 2, it should be letter A again, available. Should be available. Okay. Number 3 is appropriate. Okay. When we say appropriate, yes, we have high technologies, like modern technologies. But if in the community they do not have that technology, it's not appropriate. We could not just use high technologies if, like in the community, we do not have electricity. Okay? In some areas in the Philippines, in Ifugao, we do not have electricity. So we could not make high use of high technology. Okay? It should be appropriate on the area. It's based on the availability of their resources and budget. And number 4, it's the acceptance. Okay? Acceptance. So when you create your plan, your activity plan for disaster risk management, you have to see those 4 areas. Okay? Are the service accessible? Are they always available? Are they appropriate? Are they accepted by the community? Okay, or not? So because if those 4 A's are absent, your plan could not work. Okay? So you have your 4 A's: accessible, available, appropriate, and accepted. Okay? Next, ma'am. Now, before, we have our presidential decree for the implementation of our disaster risk management. Okay? However, because year 2009, we ranked number 1 as the highest risk of disaster happening worldwide. We ranked number 1. Okay, with that, we revised our policy when it comes to disaster risk management. Now we have our Republic Act 10121. Republic Act 10121, where disaster risk management has been transformed and reformed the way we deal when it comes to disaster. So before, we are more focused on emergency response. But right now, we are more focused on prevention and mitigation. Because there would be no emergency situation if you are prepared. Right? Okay? Now before, it's more focus on giving relief goods. Like if there is typhoon, the affected individuals, we give relief goods. But right now, it's more on preparing them. Okay? By preparing them on how they become active participants when there is emergency. Okay? So the concept for our disaster preparedness, it's more on unity. Okay? Unity. Working together. Not only one sector is working, not only the government, but also the private sectors. Not only the officials who are working, but also all the individuals, the families in every community working together to prevent the effects of the consequences of typhoons or any type of disaster. Okay? So it's not on giving relief goods, providing water, that's more on giving, but on active participation. Okay, next, ma'am. So our Philippine Disaster Risk Management was just signed year 2010 and it repealed with our PD 1566. It's repealed because we ranked number one 2009 on on the higher risks of disaster in worldwide. So we have to revise our policy when it comes to disaster risk management. Yes, ma'am, next. Okay, so before, there are four phases of disaster risk management. One is preparedness and mitigation. Okay, one is preparedness and mitigation. Next would be on response. Okay, preparedness, response, and rehabilitation and recovery. Before, we focus on four areas. Okay. So they have 25% on prevention and mitigation, 25% on preparedness, rehabilitation, and response. But right now, we are more focused on prevention and mitigation. Okay? In the Philippines, we are more focused on prevention and mitigation. Because if you prevented, okay, and you would reduce the consequences of disaster, no need for emergency or emergency responses already. Okay? So we are focused more on prevention, mitigation, and preparedness of the community, not only focusing on the national government, but we bring all the services on the barangay level through community organized participatory action and research. Now I'll be telling some of the activities that were done on those phases. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so this is a transformation of how policies are being developed. So from from the Climate Change Act of 2009, because we ranked number one when it comes to disaster risk management, we have already our Republic Act, Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act. Yes, ma'am. Okay, yes. Next slide. Okay, yes. Next slide, ma'am. Okay, yes. Okay, so here is our framework. Okay, our framework for disaster risk reduction, prevention and mitigation, preparedness, recovery and rehabilitation, and response. This is the framework that we are using if we do the planning in the provincial and community level. So there are activities under prevention and mitigation, and we conduct training, okay, to the barangay, to the families in the barangay. We have also training for preparedness, activities for preparedness, and activities for recovery and rehabilitation. Example of that is we do debriefing, like after the flood, families will undergo counseling, okay? Because probably they might experience post-traumatic stress disorder or syndrome, okay? And also, our response, I think we are familiar with this triaging, okay? We also train our barangay officials to do triaging, like doing bandaging, CPR, and so on. Okay, next, ma'am. Yes, next. Okay. Now, yes. So these are some of the activities that we are doing. For prevention, this includes activities that reduce damages to the community before a disaster happens. Like what we are doing, we educate the public on the risk of potential disaster and their effects. So we conduct seminars, okay? And this is our extension program, both the university and the government, the local government units. We do building codes, okay? We have building codes. Like if there is fire, these are the codes that you need to do or to dial. We have numbers for that. Another, public safety regulations. If there is upcoming typhoon in our place, you could receive a text message, okay? You'll be receiving a text message in Viber, WhatsApp, or a mobile phone that would tell you have typhoon, these are the things that you need to do. So we have sort of reminder always. okay, in times of disaster. But the most important here is on how we educate the public and the community when it comes to disaster preparedness. We train them. If there is earthquake, we do earthquake drill, okay, and we teach them basic procedures like CPR, doing bandaging. If there is fire, these are the things that they need to do. So we conduct trainings for our mitigation. Next, ma'am. For preparedness, here, these are actions that enhance ability of communities and government to respond to disaster. We develop plans, a community risk disaster plan, okay? But that depends on the community, the location of the community. Later on, I'll be telling some of the techniques or the things that we need to remember when preparing a plan. Okay? Here, I said this already, we practice drills and exercise for emergency personnel, like a warning system. Warning system, that's the text message or a Viber. Like they will give a reminder. All people, individual on that area would receive a message that you have to prepare for upcoming typhoon. You have to do this and like that. So we have warning systems. Okay. Next, we have also evacuation plans. Okay, like in our school, we have an area for evacuation, and that is the one you need to do also in the community. You try to look for an area, okay, in the community and consider that as an evacuation area. Like for example, maybe a hall or a gymnasium in that community that consider as an evacuation plan, evacuation area. And on that evacuation area, of course, you should have your emergency supplies, okay, be installed in that area. So identify evacuation area in the community. Okay. Another, I already told this, installing emergency communication system. We have you could receive messages from Viber, WhatsApp, or a text message that there is an upcoming typhoon or there is an aftershock or earthquake. Okay, next. So that is for preparedness. Next, ma'am. For our response phase, this is more on emergency response. Okay, like providing triaging, first aid, food, water, and so on, and transportation for the victims. Okay. As I have said, we are more focused on prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. Because if we are prepared, okay, we do not have to act emergency situations. Okay? So we focus more on preparing our people in times of disaster. Next, the last phase would be on rehabilitation and reconstruction. So you should have also activities for this. Example of this, here we want to decrease the effect of or the consequence of disaster or to the people, like psychological effect of the earthquake or the accident. So we do reconstruction of houses, damages, roads, restoring livelihood, or what we are doing right now, we are conducting debriefing. Okay, we counsel them after the earthquake or accidents to prevent post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. Next, ma'am. Next. So these are the government agencies. These are the government agencies responsible for the phases. So it's not only one department who is responsible. We have our Department of Social Welfare. We have our Department of Interior and Local Government. We have our Department of Science and Technology. So it's not only one department. It's a multi-sectoral. Disaster risk management and preparedness should be multi-sectoral. Okay? It's not only one department who will be working for this. Okay? Next, ma'am. Now, key players under our Republic Act. Okay? Before, we do not have the community part. But right now, we go to the grassroots level, at the level of the community, because these are the people who are actually being affected by the disaster. Okay? Next. Okay. Now that is a structure of who are the responsible when it comes to disaster preparedness. But right now, again, we are on the barangay level when it comes to disaster preparedness. Okay, next, ma'am. Okay, yes. So from the national to the provincial, M is municipal, MDRRMC is M is municipal, and B is for the barangay. So the responsibility when it comes to disaster risk management, it's not on the national, but on our local government, like barangay level. Yes? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay. Now, in case of, I just want to focus on this. In case of disaster, the people at the community level have more to lose because they are the ones directly hit. That's what I'm saying. Because they are the ones who are actually affected and are vulnerable. So, most probably, who should be prepared when it comes to disaster? The community should be prepared when it comes to disaster risk management. Yes. Okay. Okay, now this concept gave rise to the idea of community-based disaster risk management. Okay? That's why we have community disaster risk management. Before, we only have provincial disaster risk management. It's not on the level of the community or barangay. But since they are the actual people that are affected because of disaster, so might probably we have to have a community disaster-based management to prepare them. Okay? Next, ma'am. Yes. Now, what are I think this one would be what could be help you to start your community disaster-based management plan on the activities that we need to do. Okay. We have here phases or steps for you to prepare the community and to come up with a community-based disaster management aspect or a department or a plan. Okay? First, identification, analysis, treatment, monitoring, and disaster. I will be sharing to you. Yes. Next slide, ma'am. Yes. I think. Go down, yeah. Yes, that's, I think, yeah. You, down. Yes, yes. Oh, you're going back. I think it's the other way around. Yeah. Yeah, yes, that's it. Yes, that's it. Okay. Now we have 6 steps. And this is our community organized participatory action research. And our nursing students, both our nursing students, our faculty, work hand in hand to train the community when it comes to disaster risk management. It's one of our activities in the nursing department. Like one, selection of the community. Now, when you select community, we see to it that this community, this belongs to the vulnerable ones. And who are considered to be vulnerable, look at the population. Check if there are more young population like infants and children. Okay? If those area have more people who are elder and pregnant, okay, this should be your choice of community to train. Okay? So those who have vulnerable individuals. Vulnerable individuals include infants, children, pregnant mothers, and elderly. So you select a community with these higher numbers. Okay? Number two, for you to select communities, consider the vulnerable individuals. Number two, select a community where they belong to an area that there is a problem on their location. Like, for example, the community is beside the mountain. So probably flash floods and accidents are common there. Okay? Or this community belongs to a fault line. That means they could probably experience earthquake. Okay? Or this community do not have a waste disposal system. Okay? Choose that community to train and prepare. Okay? So one, choose community with vulnerable individuals, infant, children, pregnant mothers, elderly. Second, you base on their location. Okay? Especially these communities are not accessible. We do not have transportation or difficulty on the transportation. So probably this community belongs to a mountainous area, or you need to cross a river for you to reach this community. So this should be the community that should be trained. Okay? Now, more or less, so this community should be located on far-flung areas. So you train community who are located at far-flung areas, because these probably are the community that could hardly get the services, okay, from the city. Okay? So you select a community. Another consideration when you select a community is their acceptance, okay, acceptance and participation, because if they will not be accepting you, okay, you could not conduct trainings for them. Okay? Another, rapport building and understanding the identified community. So what we are doing, we conducted ocular visit first. We conducted ocular visit, and we identify key informants. Key informants, these are our contact person in the community. Key informants should be individuals who are respected, not who are rich. Okay? Sometimes we tend to go to the rich one, but that's not in the principle of the community participatory action. Okay? It's more on who are respected and who are the elders in the community to approach. Next, ma'am. Next would be participatory community risk assessment. We gather the people in the community. We interview them one by one. Like, what are you experiencing here? What are the problems? And with this problem, we list it down and we prioritize it. We have a criteria when it comes to prioritization of the problem. We look into the nature of the problem, if there is really actual problem. We look into the risks and preventive potentials. Again, I remind you, we consider the 4 A's: accessible, available, appropriate, and acceptance. Okay? And when it comes to planning, it's not the school who will make the plan. It's the community. It's mutual agreement. Okay? Like, if you have a problem when it comes to drainage, that's why there is flood, what do you want to do? We ask the community. We are not making the plan. We both make the plan, because in community organization, participatory action research, it should be mutually agreed goals. You make goals, not only you, the organizer, but together with the people. Okay? So the people should agree. Okay? Another is participatory action planning. Here we identify available resources in the community. We cannot use high technologies, okay, if that is not available to the community. Okay? So we might want appropriate technology, not high technology. Okay? Next, ma'am. Now, here, for example, we have problem on drainage system. We have to fix the drainage. It's not the government or private institution who would hire individuals to fix the drainage. It's the community. Okay? The whole community will work together, okay, to fix that drainage. Okay? So the idea here is the community should be fixing their own problem. They do not need to hire from the outside to fix their problem, to be prepared. So that's the idea of the community disaster risk management in our area. We have a problem, we fix our problem. We do not want other individuals, not from the community, who will fix the problem. It's us. Together, we fix the problem. And of course, with that, we have monitoring and evaluation of our community-based disaster risk management project. The project depends on the actual problem and on the mutually agreed goals of the community. Okay? So we just go there and monitor them if it's sustainable. Okay? The best, it should be sustainable. Okay? If it's not sustainable, it's useless. Okay? So, next, ma'am. I think I gave this as a takeaway for the faculty and also for the students. When you make your plan later on for disaster risk management, remember your target up. Okay, remember your target up. Okay, so target to the need. When we say to the need, that's the actual problem, not the desire of the university or the government. It's based on the need of the community. Okay? Another, you need accurate, there should be accurate information. Okay? Remember, you go to the statistics office, determine if how many of the individuals living there in that community who are pregnant, who are children, who are elderly, because these are the community that we need to focus on. Those community with a lot of children, pregnant mothers, and a lot of elderly. Okay? It should be realistic. Okay? Again, we use appropriate technology, not high technology. Okay? We could not just say that you could use cell phone or messenger for us to contact or WhatsApp if on that place you do not have a signal. So it's not realistic. Okay? It should be realistic. Okay? Another goal-oriented. Goal here, it's not only, it should be mutually agreed goals. The goal here, our objectives here are not formulated by the organizer, not the organizer, but the community, together with the community. It should be goal and goal-directed. It should be mutually agreed goal. Okay? Remember, it should be efficient and cost-effective. Okay? Efficient and cost-effective. We want appropriate, not high technology. Okay? Another, it's time-based. So we have a period. Okay? Like for the training, we conducted it for 2 weeks. Okay? So it's time-based. And after that, we do monitoring if they can do with the procedure even without the organizer. Okay? It's usable. That means with this generation, after you teach this procedure, the next generation could use it also, and they could pass it on through trainings and seminars. And it should be also position-centric. Position-centric, that's why we have to choose the right community for us to train and prioritize what community to be trained, because probably we have to position that this area should be the one to be prioritized because they are greatly involved if there is disaster. Okay? And last one, last slide. In disaster risk management, we cannot do it alone. Okay? We cannot do it alone. We cannot, one agency cannot do it alone. Okay? You yourself cannot do it alone. It's a collaborative effort. Okay? It's a collaborative effort. All agencies, sectors should be involved. And that's very timely since I'm here and we are doing collaboration. Okay? We could not improve if there is no unity. Okay? Remember, unity is strength. Okay? When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things could be achieved. Okay? Remember, no man is an island. The same is true with education. The same is true with disaster risk management. We cannot stand alone. We have to stand. We could not stand divided, but we have to stand as one community. And in unity, there is strength. I think that is a Marvel, or if you watch Marvel movies, like Avengers, like that. That's their theme. In unity, there is strength. And I think that's all for today. That's all for today for my discussion for community disaster risk management. And I think I'm now, thank you very much. Terima kasih. Terima kasih. Yeah. In everything we do, we have to move as one. That's the principle that we need to remember when it comes to disaster risk management. Okay? I think I'm now ready for the question or the final discussion. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. I don't know if I have pictures lecturing. I have forgot my phone to give to Sir Kendra. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give it applause for Mr. Leonard Ivan.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ivan. So, we're going to the next session. It's a discussion session. And for anyone in Zainuri Hall who want to ask Mr. Ivan any question about our topic today, community disaster risk management, you can raise your hand and the committee will give you a microphone, and please mention your name and your class. And for everyone, the audience from Zoom and YouTube, you can also type your question down below the comment box. Thank you. Anyone? Ada yang mau tanya? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, committee, please. I apologize. I'm here.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Excuse me. I think I have to cut our discussion because we have adhan. I think around 5 minutes. We will continue after adhan. class and your question. Okay, it's up to you in Indonesia or in English.
Oke. Perkenalkan, nama saya Noer Afnia Rifanti dari semester 6 kelas B. Mohon izin bertanya, Mr. Leonard Ivan Temelana, bagaimana cara kita sebagai komunitas dalam mengedukasi masyarakat, terutama anak-anak dan lansia jika terjadi bencana alam? Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you for that question. For the community to take part on risk management, they are actually active actors. Okay? Before they are recipients, okay? They are the one that our services are done for them. It's for them. But right now, these services should be done with us. Okay? So they are trained. They are trained also to do like bandaging because before our policies, we have health workers like barangay officials or health workers who are doing that for them. But right now in the family, there should be 2 or 3 members who are already trained to how to do bandaging. Okay, so that's how the community take part on disaster risk management. Okay, by doing actually the things. So it's not only the nurses or not only the professionals who are doing that, but the family, each family member or 2 or 3 family members are really trained to do CPR. They are trained to do bandaging. They are trained if there is earthquake or fire drill. They are trained. Every establishment in the community, like a restaurant or a school, okay, there should be a trained faculty or trained, even if you are not in the medical field, not in nursing, you are also trained, okay? So everyone is trained in the community for us to prepare for disaster risk. So everybody takes part, not only some sectors. Yes.
Oke, jadi gimana sih caranya untuk kita take a part, kita ikut mengambil langkah gitu, terutama di lansia dan anak-anak ya. Nah, jadi dalam satu keluarga kita itu pasti ada beberapa family. Jadi tidak hanya orang tua dan anak-anak saja. Nah, itu seharusnya di training terlebih dahulu mengenai risk management yang ada. Dan di dalam satu keluarga itu tidak hanya karena sudah ada yang di training itu, jadi anak-anak dan lansia itu kita dampingi gitu. Jadi karena sudah mungkin usia rentan atau bagaimana, jadi kita yang sudah terlatih itu para pengambil keputusan lah istilahnya yang mengambil part untuk risk management itu. Dan walaupun bukan sebagai medical student atau mahasiswa kesehatan maupun dokter keperawatan dan lain-lain, itu bisa saja kita diberi pelatihan bagaimana cara risk management yang baik. Jadi tidak hanya bergantung kepada satu pondasi, yaitu orang-orang di kesehatan saja. Oke, for first session, our second question, ada lagi? Oke. Committee, I think for first session, kita bakalan buka 3 ya, ternyata Mr. Ivan minta lebih, oke. Jadi, siapa aja bisa?
Yeah, let me introduce myself. I'm Johari Ahmad Febriansa from Diploma Nursing Program. I want to ask Mr. Ivan, as the people who live in coastal area, what can we do to prevent the effect of disaster? Thank you.
Again.
As the people who live in a coastal area, what can we do to prevent the effect of disaster?
Okay. If you are living on the coastal area, we have warning signals, okay, like gay warning for like you could not go for sailing if there is a warning signal, like that. But for coastal area, we usually have an evacuation area. Like if there is typhoon, you could not be there for more than 48 hours in the coastal area. You should be evacuated on there is assigned evacuated area in the community if you are living on the coastal area. Okay? So within 48 hours, the typhoon or is coming, or if there are flash floods, okay, you will be evacuated on that area. For the prevention that we are doing, mitigation process and preparedness for people living in coastal area, it's more on a waste disposal management for the preparation. Okay, if you are living in a coastal area, and more or less for the response system, we have warning signals if there are upcoming typhoon. You could not sail if there is warning signals. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay. Maybe any feedback from Jauhari?
No.
That's enough? Udah cukup?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, one more question on first session. Siapa nih? Cowok apa cewek nih?
Very
Girl,
good.
boy.
More questions is okay.
More questions.
That means you listen to the discussion, and yeah, that's very interesting.
Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Ando Mangkulhur. I am from Bachelor of Nursing Program. In here, I will ask to Mr. Ivan, does the punishment will helpful for make people aware of the danger of disaster? Sometimes people make mistakes which they never know it will become hazard.
Again, can you repeat it?
Lagi.
Okay. Does the punishment will helpful for make people aware of the danger of disaster? Sometimes people make mistakes which they never know it will become hazard.
Okay. Now, because of the pandemic, it's a biochemical hazard. It's in one way or another, a disaster. We have a lot of policies. Okay, like you could not go out, and there's a corresponding punishment for that. Okay, but it's really hard for us to punish because they will be always questioning the rules and regulations like human rights. Okay, so there's always a question when it comes to human rights that you could not just punish that because that is a restriction of human rights. But for example, a while ago when I told about the policy on cutting of trees, actually they are doing in the Philippines. They are penalizing. They will have to pay. Okay? They have to pay for something. Like it depends. That depends on the degree of the mistake or act. Okay? So they could be penalized up to 50 to 100,000 in pesos. Okay? So that is probably like 100 times 200. That is equivalent in rupiah, for example, if you cut down trees. Okay? And you will be penalized. You pay. If you cannot pay, you will be probably imprisoned for 1 year, for example. Okay? So yeah. It's hard to implement policies because Philippines is a republican country and we believe on freedom and they are always questioning on human rights. But some of our people, they lack discipline and they are taking advantage of our democracy. Okay? But yeah, for the policy, for the punishment, we do like, if you go out, like during the pandemic, if you go out, you will be staying in the prison for one night, like that. Yeah, we do that. We do that. Those punishments. Okay? Uh, if you will do, I saw here yesterday again that you are allowed to burn your garbage. Here, you're allowed. Yes or no?
Yes, we will allow.
You're allowed.
We
In
allowed it.
in our community in the Philippines, we are not allowed to do burning. Because if you burn, the ozone layer will be damaged. That's the time when there is climate change. There will be, the place will be hotter, like global warming. So if you are caught burning garbages in your backyard, again you will be penalized. You have to pay an amount for doing that. Okay. Again, if you will not be separating your garbage, like non-biodegradable, they will not be collecting your garbage. As a punishment, they will not be collecting your garbage. Okay? So those are the things that we do for us to maintain, also have policies that really prevent part of disaster risk management.
Okay. Any feedback from Ando Mangkulur?
No, that's enough. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think I will get one more question, one last question in first session. Cowok apa cewek nih? Oke, yang perempuan satu.
Okay, thank you for the time. My name is Kade Fadila Octaviana. My question is, what the biggest obstacles for you as a community disaster risk management when educating the public to reduce on step to reduce the impact or risk of disaster? Definitely, it's not easy, right, to make people understand and follow what we say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. The biggest problem that we have when we try to deal with the community is their participation. Okay? It's really hard for them to convince that they have to participate. Okay? Through our trainings and seminars, to decrease the effects of, or to prevent disaster, the effects of disaster. It's really hard for us to really convince them to participate. But in our province, one of our motivation when they participate, okay, we could give incentives. Okay? You have to give incentives because since you will take their time, like they have their work, but they cannot attend to their work because they will be attending your training for the community, okay, for disaster risk management. So you might want to give them incentives, okay, so that they will just attend the training because they have work. Okay? They will not be going to work, so they do not have salary for that day. So in return, you have to give incentives and feed their family, okay, so that they could attend the training. Okay? And with that, we also discuss the effects of disaster, and if they are prepared as early as now, we could avoid those consequences. So I think the hardest part really is for you to convince the community. Okay? You might want to devise some plans or incentives, give them incentives for them to participate. Anyway, that's for the whole community. It's only for the family.
Okay, give it applause. Nah, okay, so first session is over. Now I'm going to move for the next session, like our second session. I'll take 4 questions. 2 questions from Zoom and 2 questions from this hall. Oke, jadi yang mau tanya bisa prepare pertanyaannya ya. Pakai bahasa Inggris apa Indonesia, Mbak? Bahasa Inggris ya, Nak. Oke. Oke, jadi so question from Zoom from Siti Rizkika from Universitas Bondowoso. The question is, maybe there a disaster mitigation method in the Philippines that is very effective and can be implemented in Indonesia. Maybe Indonesia has not implemented this mitigation. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. As I think I shared some of our mitigation and prevention, like when you cut down trees, okay, you need permit. You could not just cut down trees. Okay, you need permit, and then you have to replace that with 10 seedlings. Okay. Another thing that we are doing when it comes to collecting garbages, okay, since we want to prevent flood, the cause of flood is because of congested drainage, because of a problem on waste disposal. So to mitigate that or to prevent that, we are separating biodegradable, non-biodegradable. If they will not be separating that, they cannot collect the garbage. And you are not allowed to burn the garbage. Okay? It's not allowed in the Philippines. You are not allowed, because that would also contribute to global warming and climate change, and that is form of a hazard or a disaster. Okay? So I think those are some examples when it comes to our policy. But for us to really mitigate them, conduct trainings and seminars for the community, like simply doing bandaging, okay? Simply having earthquake drill, okay? Like if there is a fire, what are the things that you need to do? How to operate a fire extinguisher. Okay? Those are examples of the trainings that we are conducting, and that would prevent, okay, the effects of disaster. One example is that a certain community is prepared on how to control fire, like how to use fire extinguisher. So before the firemen arrive, the fire is already been decreased and there are no casualties. Why? Because these people in that community know how to use the fire extinguisher. So that's some ways for us to mitigate.
Okay, thank you. For next question from Nahiatul Muna from Universitas Muhammadiyah Lamongan. The question is, there is an indirect effect for the healthcare services operation when the disaster comes. For an instance, COVID-19 has a huge impact that health worker was overburdened physically and mentally. What is your opinion about the readiness of healthcare institution in the term of disaster risk management?
Okay. It's sad to say, before pandemic, nurses are not well appreciated in our country. They have low salary. Before pandemic, they have low salary. They are not appreciated, and nurses in the Philippines, because we have a lot of nurses, they do not have employment. They work not as a nurse but in different field. But during COVID-19, this is a time where healthcare professionals like nurses are being appreciated. That's the time when nurses are seen as heroes, the new heroes of the year, of the COVID season. Okay? But yes, they are burdened already. Okay? I have friends, sad to say, I have friends, doctors, nurses who died during the COVID-19 pandemic because of the effect of the COVID, and at the same time because of stress, because they work 24-hour shift, because we do not have, because of COVID-19, some of our nurses resigned from their work because they are afraid of transmitting the virus to their family. So they resign at the hospital, and some of my friends need to work 24 hours for to cater patients. And because of stress and so on, some of my friends died. They have heart attacks and not probably the effects of COVID. Okay. What we are doing, they tried to raise the salary already for nurses, and they have hazard pay. They have hazard pay, and they have their food and clothes, shelter is provided by the hospital. Okay, that's why I as early as now, if you are not still graduating, I already congratulate you for choosing nursing profession. It's a very noble profession for everyone. And I want you to give a clap for everyone for choosing nursing, because nursing is really, it's not it's not based on salary monetary. It's really a noble. It's a calling. It's a choice that we have to choose and we have to love for life, because monetary is useless. It's more on being passionate when it comes to caring. So I want to congratulate everyone for choosing nursing as their profession.
Okay, thank you. I think I will give chance one more last question. Oke. Mikrofonnya tolong kasih, ada anak D3 tadi, raise hand.
Okay. Let me introduce myself. My name is Putri Pramudita. I'm from Nursing Diploma Program. My question is, as the lecturer of Nursing Department, how you build your students' point of view from the very basic thing? Could you kindly share with us here, sir? Thank you.
Again, sorry, can you repeat it?
As the lecturer of Nursing Department, how you build your students' point of view from the very basic thing? Could you kindly share with us here, sir? Thank you.
Sorry, Mbak. Tolong bisa diulangi lagi pertanyaannya? Lebih jelas. Mungkin bisa dibuka maskernya.
As the lecturer of Nursing Department, how you build your students' point of view from the very basic thing? Could you kindly share with us here, sir?
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. How I build my my student. Yeah, that's my student. Okay. For my how I build my student, we compose of our criteria like KSA. KSA is if you're a nursing student, you should be having KSA. KSA, K is knowledge, S yung skills, and A is attitude. Okay? KSAs, knowledge, skills, and attitude. So we are not only focusing on knowledge, like we are doing lectures and so on. Okay? Skills, practicals, we go for duty, return demonstration. Most importantly, in nursing, we build their attitude. Okay? That's the hardest part, okay, in attitude. Because my students will tend to compare other department. In our school, you need to wear complete uniform. You have to tie up your hair. You are not allowed to wear jewelries, okay? But in other department, they could just wear what they want, yes. But in nursing, you could not just wear what you want, okay? And in nursing, um, before we had our duty, okay, before they go higher ups, we conducted self-awareness program, okay? Because you could not have your duty if you are not have self-awareness, okay? So we develop also self-awareness. Like we look back to what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are your problems with the family. Okay? We try to fix it first, okay, and have self-awareness before they have to continue duty. Because they cannot communicate well with the community or the family in the hospital or the patient if they do not have self-awareness. Remember, we could not sympathize our patient or the family. We are more on empathy than sympathy. Okay? So empathy is putting your feet on the shoes of your patient. Because if it's sympathy, if your patient is crying and you are there, you are emotional and you are also crying, that is not effective. You should be more empathy, understanding, not on sympathizing them. So that's most important for us, the attitude and having self-awareness. We try to develop that, especially when they go for duty at the hospitals or in the community. Okay? Um, we are telling them that you have to be aggressive. Okay? Sometimes what they see nurses as lower compared to doctors. Okay? Sometimes. But we are telling them doctors and nurses are on the same level. Because if you will see yourself lower than the doctors, okay, if, like for example, there are medicines or procedures that are not indicated for that patient, what is your role as a nurse? You have to question the doctor. Hi doc, what you are giving to the patient is not good, or this medicine is not good for the patient. You have to question them. So you have to see yourself as an equal with the doctor. Okay? So we are always telling them that they have to be aggressive. You have to speak. Okay? If you have something on your mind, you have to speak. Okay? If what they are doing there is not acceptable, you have to question. Okay? So because we are there to stand for the rights of our patient and not for the institution or not for the doctor. We are there for the patient. So we are developing those things for them, that as much as possible, what is on their mind, they have to speak it up. What they feel, yeah, they have to feel that, and they have to be real. They have to be real when it comes to attending to their patient. Because that's when they are become effective nurses.
Okay, thank you. So I think everything what lecture do for us is for our future, because you are because I also a student. Yeah, because you are prepared for our real life. I mean that job, because job and college, that's a very very different. That's why you build your student. So yes.
Yes, as early as their student, they have to act as nurses already. Okay. That's how we prepare. Yeah. Because it's really difficult, the life of a nurse. You could stay at the hospital for 24 hours. Okay? Since you could not just leave your patient. Okay? You have to be there. What if your other nurses are absent? So you have to stay there, even you could not go home. Okay?
Okay, give it applause for Mr. Ivan. Okay. Okay, Mr. Ivan. Our second session is over, but I think this is my session to ask you one question. I mentioned about lack of education. Nah, maybe you can share with us, in your opinion, what government should do to the issue. Because I think the biggest problem in this issue is the program or information, it cannot reach inland or a place that far from capital. Okay, what's your opinion about that?
Okay. With that, we have a communication system being developed. Okay. Everything is route through emails. Or I think right now it's easy. The communication is easy because of a lot of social platforms. Okay. Like we have a group for the president. So all the communications are sent there. All a group conversation for the IRO officers. So all the communications are there already. I think the problem is there are a lot really of information, but we need to filter what's most important when it comes to communication that would truly benefit our students. Um, we are finalizing our mobility program for students exchange because, yeah, we have limitations also. Limitations when it comes to communication. Okay? Like most of our instruction is on English. Okay? And probably limitations on the expenses that you will be spending for airfare or accommodations or food when you go there, and maybe your budget is limited. So we are coming up with an international mobility collaborative on-site. That means you go there, and online learning that is through Zoom or via other platforms, online platforms. And I think for the communication, I think it is so easy. In our place, that's quite so. Sometimes we have problems when it comes to signals in Wi-Fi. But I think here it's no problem. Yeah, I think there's no problem. But because in our area, it's mountainous. So if there is a heavy rain, we do not have signal anymore like that because our area is very mountainous area. Something is blocking our communication system if the rain is too hard. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ivan. Okay, I would like to say thank you for Mr. Ivan.
Thank you.
And our audience in Zainuri Hall, Zoom, and our YouTube channel. It's a very attractive discussion. I didn't expect it will be this attractive.
Thank you.
Okay, and from this lecture today, we know that the framework of disaster risk reduction is that is prevention, mitigation, preparedness, rehabilitation, recovery, and response. Okay, so actually disaster can be prevented by enhancing the knowledge particularly about how to maintain our environment by educating the public or our society. Developing plans of action in response to disaster, minimize the environmental damage, and developing the policy or regulation related to environment that influence to the damage like a natural disaster. Okay. So with this, it will be our end of our discussion today. And I'm Dia Ayunur Fadila as the moderator on duty. Apologize if I do a mistakes during guiding our session today. Then I will return to our master of ceremony. Thank you very much and see you.
Thank you very much. Pictures?
The seventh agenda is handover certificate and documentation. Before we close this event, please to Nurse Sofia Rosmadewi, SCUP, MCUP, to give handover the certificate to the speaker, Mr. Leonard Ivan Timelana, and take documentation afterwards. And please to Mr. Leonard Ivan Timelana toward the front of the stage for hand over certificate and documentation.
That is the entire series of general lecture. Let's close this event by reading Hamdalah together.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
As the master of ceremony, we do apologize for any mistakes during this event. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
kami dengan warna biru, simbol jati diri, kebanggaan kami, tempat belajar kami untuk menggapai semua cita dan kami pasti juara. Ini adalah alma mater kami, kebanggaan kami, jiwa raga kami, tempat belajar, tempat mengembangkan cita-cita kita di ujung kami bisa. Ini